Take this cart to the service elevator. You people shouldn't be using the executive entrance.
Take this cart to the service elevator. You people shouldn't be using the executive entrance. Richard Blackwell angrily roared through marble lobby of Titanium Holdings. His $15,000 Brioni suit caught the morning light as he thrust a leather briefcase toward the woman in the blue cleaning uniform. The Patek Philippe watch on his wrist, worth more than most people's cars, glinted as he gestured dismissively. Sir, I don't care what you think you are. This is the executive floor. Service staff use the back. His eyes narrowed at her name tag. Amara. That's what, Nigerian? Ethiopian? He smirked. Well, Amara, in America we have standards. I'm sure wherever you're from things were more relaxed. The woman, 32 years old, with kind eyes that held something Richard Blackwell couldn't see, stood perfectly still. Her fingers, calloused from years of work, didn't tremble. She simply nodded once and said, I understand. Richard turned to the three board members behind him, Michael Torres, Jennifer Chang, and David Murphy, all holding $8 lattes and looking uncomfortable. This is what happens when HR gets soft. We're running a Fortune 500 company, not a charity. He didn't bother lowering his voice. Now someone competent get this handled. I have a presentation to destroy. He had no idea his world was about to collapse. Before we dive deeper, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss any of our upcoming videos. 2 hours later, Richard Blackwell stood before the polished mahogany table in Conference Room A, surrounded by 17 executives and 3 international clients via the 85-inch video screen. The Singapore deal, $847 million in semiconductor contracts, 3 years of negotiations. Ladies and gentlemen, Richard began, his confidence radiating like heat. Today marks Titanium Holdings' expansion into... The video screen flickered. The face of Chen Wei, CEO of Pacific Dynamics Singapore, appeared frozen mid-sentence. Then the audio cut. Technical difficulties. Richard's jaw tightened. Get someone up here now. 5 minutes passed. 10. The Singaporean clients' faces grew impatient. Chen Wei checked his watch, a gesture everyone noticed. Richard's assistant, Marcus, whispered urgently into his phone by the doorway. Mr. Blackwell. It was Jennifer Chang, VP of Operations. Her voice was careful. The entire presentation system is down. The contracts are locked in the server. It says it's a catastrophic network failure. Richard's face flushed. Then get someone who knows what they're doing. Sir, our entire IT department is trying. This deal closes today or we lose it to Vertex Industries. Do you understand what that means? His voice boomed across the conference room. On screen, Chen Wei's expression had shifted from patient to doubtful. The door opened quietly. Amara stepped inside, still in her blue uniform, carrying a tablet. Every eye turned toward her. Richard's face twisted with fury. What are you, Marcus? Get her out of here! Mr. Blackwell, Marcus said quickly. She says she can fix it. The room went silent. Richard's laugh was sharp and cruel. She can fix it? This woman who probably learned English 5 minutes ago can fix a multi-million-dollar enterprise system that our entire IT department can't solve? Amara's voice was steady. Your system isn't failing. You're being actively blocked by a security protocol because someone tried to access the Singapore files using admin credentials from an unauthorized device. The system interpreted it as a breach attempt and locked everything with financial tagging. The room's temperature seemed to drop. Jennifer Chang leaned forward. How do you know that? Because I wrote the original security architecture for systems like this, before I came to America. Richard's smirk was vicious. You expect me to believe you? A janitor? Designed enterprise cybersecurity? He turned to the board members. This is absurd. Someone remove her before... Let her try. It was Chen Wei, speaking for the first time from Singapore. His English was precise, accent slight. What do we have to lose, Mr. Blackwell? You've already wasted 15 minutes of a 16-hour time window. Richard's face went crimson, but he stepped aside, one hand gesturing mockingly toward the dead presentation system. Fine. Show these distinguished professionals what passes for technology education in... Where was it again? Lagos, Amara said quietly. She walked to the main console, her movements precise and unhurried. Her fingers moved across the keyboard, not hunting and pecking, but with the fluid speed of someone who'd spent thousands of hours coding. The room watched in complete silence. Lines of code appeared on the screen, green text on black. Amara's fingers never paused. She typed commands that made Jennifer Chang, who had a computer science degree from Stanford, lean closer, squinting. 30 seconds. That's all it took. The system hummed to life. The presentation appeared. All 247 slides, perfectly formatted, contract PDFs unlocked. The video conference crystallized, Chen Wei's face now in perfect 4K clarity. Jennifer Chang nearly dropped her coffee cup. That's impossible. Our IT team has been working on that for 15 minutes and 40 seconds, Amara said simply. The solution required bypassing 3 security layers using root-level access protocols and rebuilding the authentication pathway. Your IT team was trying to fix the symptoms instead of the cause. Marcus had his phone out, recording. 2 other executives did the same, the moment already spreading through the company's internal networks. Lucky guess, Richard snapped. His hand gripped the edge of the table. Anyone could have stumbled onto... Mr. Blackwell. Chen Wei's voice from the screen stopped him cold. I would like to speak with this woman. Richard's mouth opened, then closed. Chen Wei's face was thoughtful. Amara, was it? You said you wrote security architecture. Where? Cybersecurity firm in Lagos. 5 years. Then network solutions in London for 2. Her voice remained calm, almost gentle. I came to America 14 months ago. My credentials haven't transferred yet. What credentials? Chen Wei pressed. Master's degree in computer science from University of Lagos. Certifications in ethical hacking, network security, and systems architecture. I've designed security protocols for banks, hospitals, and 3 government ministries. The room had gone completely still. Not a single person moved. On screen, Chen Wei was nodding slowly, a small smile forming. And you're working as a janitor. I'm working as whatever pays for my daughter's leukemia treatment while my credentials process. No shame in her voice, just fact. Massachusetts General Hospital doesn't accept Nigerian insurance. But this was only the beginning. Impossible. Richard's face had gone from red to pale. You expect us to believe that you... Mr. Blackwell. Michael Torres, CFO, was staring at his laptop screen, his face slack with shock. She's telling the truth. I just pulled up her LinkedIn. Amara Okonkwo, lead security architect at CyberShield Lagos. Published 3 papers in the International Journal of Network Security, speaking engagements at... He looked up, eyes wide. At DEF CON, the biggest hacking conference in the world. The video screen split. Chen Wei had pulled up something on his end. I'm looking at the speaker roster for DEF CON 2022. Amara Okonkwo, building unhackable systems in resource-limited environments. 300,000 views on YouTube. Richard grabbed the edge of the table. His knuckles went white. Jennifer Chang was typing rapidly. Oh my God, she didn't just speak at DEF CON. She won the security challenge competition, beat 2,000 competitors from 40 countries. Her voice rose with each word. She found vulnerabilities in systems that the NSA couldn't crack. On screen, Chen Wei was smiling now. A real smile, warm and genuine. Ms. Okonkwo, I have a question for you. Our Singapore systems have been experiencing minor security breaches, small things. Nothing catastrophic, but persistent. Our team in Manila has spent 6 weeks trying to identify the source. Could you look? Richard started to speak, but Chen Wei's raised hand silenced him. Amara hesitated for just a moment, then nodded. She pulled a chair to the console, sat down, and her fingers began moving again. The code on screen changed. Lines scrolled past faster than most people could read. Amara's eyes tracked every character, her expression focused but calm. 20 seconds. You have a backdoor in your inventory management system, she said quietly. Someone installed it 3 months ago. It's not stealing data, yet, but it's mapping your supply chain, learning your vendors, tracking your shipping routes. This is reconnaissance. Whoever installed this is planning something bigger. The room erupted in whispers. Chen Wei's face had gone serious. He was typing commands on his end, pulling up screens. 45 seconds of silence. She's right. His voice was barely above a whisper. My God, she's absolutely right. How did you... The code signature, Amara said. I've seen this before. It's a variant of an exploit that was circulating in Eastern European hacking forums last year. They target supply chain systems because most companies focus security on customer data and ignore logistics. She paused. If I had to guess, whoever placed this is planning to redirect a shipment, probably steal inventory or replace it with counterfeits. Marcus's phone was out again, recording. So were 4 others. The moment was already going viral within Titanium Holdings' internal networks. Can you remove it? Chen Wei asked. Yes, but you'll need to rebuild your authentication system afterward. This backdoor compromised your root certificates. How long? Amara glanced at the screen, calculating. 40 minutes to remove the backdoor safely. 6 hours to rebuild the authentication properly. But I'd need remote access to your Singapore servers. Chen Wei didn't hesitate. You have it. Marcus, is that your name? Send her our VPN credentials immediately. Richard finally found his voice. Absolutely not. We are not giving a janitor... Mr. Blackwell. Chen Wei's voice was ice. This woman just saved your presentation and discovered a security breach that my $40 million IT infrastructure missed. If you don't give her access, this deal is over. Not delayed. Over. I'll be signing with Vertex Industries by midnight. The real question wasn't whether Amara could fix the problem. It was how many other disasters were hiding in plain sight. Amara worked in complete silence. The executives stood behind her like students watching a masterclass. Her fingers moved across the keyboard with the precision of a surgeon, each keystroke deliberate. Lines of code appeared, disappeared, reformed. She navigated through layers of security protocols, each screen revealing deeper access to Pacific Dynamics core systems. There, she pointed to a section of code highlighted in red. That's the back door. See how it's disguised as a routine logging function? Most security scans would pass right over it because it looks legitimate. Jennifer Chang was leaning so close she was almost reading over Amara's shoulder. That's brilliant. Horrifying, but brilliant. There's more. Amara's voice remained steady, but something had shifted in her tone. She typed 3 more commands. A new window opened, this one showing network traffic data. This backdoor is part of a coordinated attack. See these IP addresses? There are similar exploits in at least 4 other systems connected to your supply chain. Chen Wei's face on screen had gone pale. What other systems? Your shipping contractor, your customs broker, your warehouse management provider in Manila, and... Amara paused, her eyes scanning the data. Titanium Holdings. Every head in the room snapped toward Richard. What? His voice was barely a whisper. Amara turned slightly in her chair, meeting his eyes. Your company has the same backdoor. In your financial systems. It was installed 11 days ago. Marcus grabbed Richard's laptop from the table, fingers flying. 30 seconds later, he looked up, his face ashen. She's right. There's unexplained access to our quarterly reports, our merger documents, our... He stopped, looking at the board members. Our bid strategy for the Singapore deal. The room exploded into chaos. Executives talking over each other, phones coming out, someone calling the legal team. "How much did they see?" Jennifer demanded. Amara was already typing. "Everything. Whoever planted this has had full access to your financial planning, your client communications, your strategic documents." She pulled up a log file. "They've downloaded 14 gigabytes of data over the past 11 days. Can you trace it?" Michael Torres had moved closer, his CFO instincts overriding his shock. "Already did. The downloads are routing through proxy servers, but the pattern matches known operations from..." Amara hesitated, then continued, "from Vertex Industries' known cyber espionage contractor." You could have heard a pin drop. "Our competitor," Richard's voice was hollow. "Our competitor has been inside our systems for 11 days. They knew everything, our pricing, our strategy, our weaknesses." "They were going to undercut you at the last second," Amara said quietly. "Chen Wei would have received a better offer from Vertex exactly 3 hours before your presentation. You would have had no time to counterbid. The deal would have been over before you knew what happened." On screen, Chen Wei was very still. "How do you know the timing?" "Because that's when the data downloads spiked. Vertex was preparing their final pitch. They would have presented it as coincidence, just good business intelligence, but it's corporate espionage. Subscribe now, because what happens next changes everything, and you won't want to miss how this plays out." Marcus had his phone pressed to his ear, speaking rapidly to IT. Jennifer was coordinating with legal. Michael Torres was calculating numbers that kept getting bigger. The conference room had transformed into a war room. But Richard Blackwell stood frozen, staring at the woman in the blue uniform who had just saved his company from something he didn't even know was happening. "How many disasters are we talking about?" Michael finally asked, his voice shaking slightly. Amara pulled up a new screen. "In Titanium Holdings specifically?" She typed rapidly. "The back door gave access to 7 critical systems: your financial database, client communications, strategic planning documents, your pending lawsuit settlements, your merger negotiations with the Taipei electronics firm, your proprietary manufacturing specifications, and your executive compensation packages." With each item, Michael Torres's face grew paler. "The compensation packages. That's insider trading territory if that information got out before our public filing." "It already got out," Amara said quietly. "Downloaded 6 days ago." "Jesus Christ." Richard's hand went to his mouth. "The SEC, the board of directors, our shareholders." He looked at Chen Wei on screen. "Your company would have been associated with us when this broke. Your reputation would have been destroyed alongside ours." Chen Wei nodded slowly. "Ms. Okonkwo, can you remove all of these back doors from both our systems?" "Yes. But Mr. Blackwell, you need to understand something." Amara turned to face Richard directly. "This isn't about me fixing a technical problem. Your entire company has a security culture issue. Whoever installed this backdoor in your systems didn't hack their way in. They were given access." "What are you saying?" "I'm saying someone on your staff, probably in IT, was either incompetent or complicit. The credentials used to install this exploit were legitimate administrator accounts. Either someone was careless with their password, or someone inside helped." The executives exchanged glances. Marcus was already pulling up employee access logs. "For months," Amara continued, her voice gentle but firm, "your company has been vulnerable. Anyone watching could have seen it. The outdated security protocols, the lack of proper authentication, the missing intrusion detection systems." She paused. "From my desk in the corner of the 15th floor where I empty trash cans at night, I could see the sticky notes with passwords on monitors. the unlocked workstations, the sensitive documents left on printers. Jennifer Chang's face flushed. "You've been watching?" "I've been cleaning, but yes, I noticed. Because this is what I'm trained to see." No accusation in Amara's voice, just facts. "In Nigeria, we learned to build secure systems with limited resources. We couldn't afford breaches. But here, with all this money, all this technology, you left your doors wide open." But how did a woman cleaning offices at night become one of the world's leading cybersecurity experts? 14 years earlier, Lagos, Nigeria. Amara Okonkwo was 18 years old, standing in a crowded internet cafe on Allen Avenue. The air conditioning barely worked. 20 people shared 5 computers, paying by the minute. The keyboard in front of her was missing 3 keys, and she'd learned to type around them. "5 more minutes," the cafe owner called out. "Then next customer." Amara's eyes didn't leave the screen. She was halfway through a free cybersecurity course from MIT's OpenCourseWare, downloaded in fragments during discounted night hours, studied between her 2 jobs, morning shift at the textile factory, evening shift cleaning office buildings. Her mother, Grace, worked as a nurse at 3 clinics. Her father had died when Amara was 12, leaving them with nothing but his advice. Education is the wealth they can't take away. "How's the computer magic?" Chukwudi, the cafe owner, had come over to check her progress. He was the one who'd first shown her how to access free university courses online when she couldn't afford enrollment. "It's not magic," Amara said softly, still reading. "It's logic, like puzzles. If you understand how systems think, you can build them, or break them." Chukwudi laughed. "Break them? Careful, or I'll worry about my computers." But it wasn't just Chukwudi. There was Professor Adeleke, who taught computer science at University of Lagos and volunteered weekend classes at the community center. There was Yemi, the IT technician at the office building Amara cleaned, who let her watch while he fixed servers after hours and answered her endless questions. "Why do you want to learn this?" Yemi had asked once, watching her take notes on everything he did. "You could study business, become a manager, make real money." "Because," Amara had said, "security is about protecting what people love, their businesses, their families, their futures. In Nigeria, we can't always protect those things from corruption or poverty, but I can protect them from hackers." She learned Python from YouTube videos on a phone with a cracked screen. She learned networking from discarded manuals Yemi gave her from his company's trash. She learned ethical hacking from online forums and late-night study sessions, piecing together knowledge from dozens of free resources. When she finally scraped together enough money for the University of Lagos entrance exam, she scored in the top 1%. Full scholarship. 4 years of intensive study while still working nights to support her mother. By 22, she was the youngest security architect at CyberShield Lagos, designing systems that protected banks and government ministries. By 26, she was speaking at international conferences, her reputation spreading through the global cybersecurity community. Then her daughter Zainab was born. Perfect. Beautiful. 10 fingers, 10 toes. Her father's smile. At 14 months, the diagnosis: acute lymphoblastic leukemia. The treatment in Nigeria was good. Lagos had excellent doctors. But the survival rate for Zainab's specific type was 64% in Nigeria. In America, at specialized children's hospitals, 94%. Amara had looked at those numbers for exactly 30 seconds before making her decision. She sold everything: her car, her furniture, her computer equipment. She borrowed money from everyone who would lend. She contacted every immigration lawyer she could find. 7 months later, she and Zainab landed in Boston with 2 suitcases and $3,000. Massachusetts General Hospital's pediatric oncology program accepted Zainab immediately. The treatment protocol, 18 months, $847,000 total estimated cost, most covered by emergency Medicaid, but with a $4,500 monthly out-of-pocket requirement for medications and specialized care. Amara's Nigerian credentials weren't recognized. Her master's degree required re-evaluation, a process taking 12 to 18 months. Her certifications needed American equivalents: more time, more money, more exams. She needed work immediately. The cleaning position at Titanium Holdings paid $17 per hour, offered health insurance after 90 days, and asked no questions about foreign degrees. She took it the same day she interviewed. Every night, from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., she cleaned offices on the 15th floor. She emptied trash cans and wiped keyboards and noticed everything: the security gaps, the lazy protocols, the vulnerable systems. She never said a word. Until today, present day. Conference room A. "I didn't know," Richard Blackwell said quietly. Every executive in the room was staring at Amara, seeing her completely for the first time. "About your daughter. About any of it." Amara's expression didn't change. "You didn't ask." The silence that followed was absolute. Chenwei spoke from the screen, his voice gentle. "Ms. Okonkwo, how long would it take you to secure both our companies completely? Not just remove the back doors, rebuild the entire security infrastructure." 3 months for comprehensive implementation, 6 weeks for critical systems. "And your rate?" Amara hesitated, caught off guard. "I don't have a rate. I'm not currently working as a consultant." "You are now." Chenwei's smile was warm. "Pacific Dynamics will pay you $15,000 per week as a security consultant starting today. 6-week contract minimum, with option to extend. We'll also cover all travel to Singapore if needed. Business class." Marcus was already calculating. "That's $90,000 base." "Ms. Okonkwo." It was Michael Torres, the CFO. His hands were shaking slightly. "Titanium Holdings would like to retain you as well. Same rate. Full-time position, not contract." "And," he glanced at Richard, then continued, "and immediate coverage of all medical expenses related to your daughter's treatment. No caps, no deductibles. We'll work directly with Mass General." Amara stood very still. That's more than..." "It's less than you're worth." Jennifer Chang had tears in her eyes. "You just saved this company from an $847 million loss and probably federal charges for securities violations. You found breaches our entire IT department missed. And you did it while we treated you like you were invisible." Richard Blackwell stepped forward. His face had lost all its earlier arrogance. He looked older somehow, smaller. "Ms. Okonkwo, I need to say something. This morning I looked at you and saw only what I expected to see. Someone foreign. Someone beneath me. Someone who couldn't possibly have anything to offer." He took a breath. "I was wrong. Completely, inexcusably wrong. And I'm sorry." Amara studied him for a long moment. "Mr. Blackwell, I don't need your apology. I need your company to stop treating people like they're disposable because of where they're from or what job they currently hold." "You're right." His voice was barely above a whisper. "You're absolutely right." On screen, Chenwei was nodding approvingly. "Mr. Blackwell, if I may make a suggestion, hire Ms. Okonkwo as your chief security officer. Full C-suite position. Give her authority to rebuild your entire security infrastructure and culture." Marcus pulled up numbers on his tablet. Standard CSO compensation for a Fortune 500 company is $350,000 to $500,000 base salary, plus equity, plus bonuses. $500,000. Richard said it firmly, no hesitation. Base salary, $500,000. Full benefits package, including comprehensive medical coverage for your daughter with no lifetime caps. Stock options, annual performance bonuses, and a formal title, Chief Security Officer of Titanium Holdings. The room had gone silent again. "You're offering me—" Amara's voice trailed off. She looked at the blue uniform she was still wearing, at the executives surrounding her, at Chen Wei smiling on the screen. "You're offering me $500,000. "I'm offering you what you've earned," Richard said quietly. "What you should have been offered the moment you walked through our doors 14 months ago if I'd had the sense to see past my own prejudice." Amara closed her eyes for just a moment. When she opened them, they were bright with unshed tears. "Mr. Blackwell, I'll accept your offer on one condition." "Name it." "My mother, Grace Okonkwo. She's a registered nurse in Nigeria with 30 years of experience. She's been trying to get licensed in Massachusetts for 8 months. Your company has connections with Mass General. Help her get her credentials processed. Help her find work. She moved here for Zainab, too, and she's been driving for Uber while waiting for her nursing license to transfer." Michael Torres was already typing. "Consider it done. Mass General owes us significant favors. I'll make calls today." Jennifer Chang stepped forward, extending her hand. "Welcome to the executive team, Ms. Okonkwo." The handshake was firm, respectful, the handshake of equals. On screen, Chen Wei raised a coffee cup in salute. "To Titanium Holdings' new CSO, and to the $847 million deal we're about to close, because now I actually trust the company I'm working with." Marcus started the presentation again. The slides flowed smoothly, the systems perfect. As Richard began his pitch, much more humble now, much more genuine, Amara stepped back to the wall. She pulled out her phone and typed a quick text to her mother. "Mom, we got it. Everything. I'll explain tonight. Tell Zainab that Mommy's new job means she gets all her medicine. All of it. Forever." 3 dots appeared immediately. Then, "Praise God. I knew he had a plan. So proud of you, my daughter." Amara smiled, wiped her eyes, and watched as Richard Blackwell, the man who'd called her "you people" just 4 hours earlier, closed the biggest deal of his career with newfound humility and respect. The presentation ended to applause from the Singaporean team. Chen Wei signed the contracts electronically, his digital signature appearing on screen in real time. $847 million, 3-year partnership, the deal of the decade. As the executives celebrated, Marcus approached Amara quietly. "Ms. Okonkwo, Chief Okonkwo, I recorded everything. The fix, the discovery of the breaches, all of it. It's already spreading through the company. Everyone knows what you did." Amara nodded slowly. "Good. Maybe it'll remind people to look twice before they assume someone's worthless based on their uniform." "Oh, it's doing more than that." Marcus grinned, pulling up his phone. "You're trending on LinkedIn. Someone from Pacific Dynamics posted about you. 40,000 views in 2 hours. DF Khan just reached out asking if you'll keynote next year." And he scrolled down, eyes widening. "Forbes wants to interview you. From janitor to CSO, how one woman saved a Fortune 500 company." Richard Blackwell approached, overhearing the last part. "Ms. Okonkwo, you should do the Forbes interview. You should do all the interviews. The world needs to hear this story." Amara met his eyes. "Why? So people can feel good about one success story while ignoring the millions of qualified immigrants working jobs beneath their skill level? While pretending this was an anomaly instead of a symptom of systematic prejudice?" The room went quiet. "You're right again," Richard said softly. "So let's change it. Not just the story, the reality. You're chief security officer now. You have power. Use it. Rebuild the culture. Hire the overlooked people. Find the other Amaras." "That's exactly what I plan to do." Her voice was steady, certain. "Starting tomorrow, I'm reviewing every single employee in this company who's overqualified for their current position. Every immigrant whose credentials haven't transferred. Every brilliant person you've stuck in a corner because you couldn't see past their accent or their neighborhood or their resume gap. Jennifer Chang smiled. I'll help. I've been wanting to overhaul our hiring practices for 2 years. Then let's do it together. Amara looked around the room at the executives, at the massive screens, at the leather chairs and mahogany table. Because today shouldn't be unusual. It should be normal. Recognizing talent shouldn't require an $847 million crisis. It should be what we do every single day. Michael Torres raised his coffee cup. To the new Titanium Holdings, where we actually see people. The executives echoed the toast. On screen, Chen Wei was smiling, nodding approvingly. Richard Blackwell raised his cup last, meeting Amara's eyes. And to learning, finally, painfully, that talent doesn't look like what I thought it looked like. Thank you for the lesson, Chief Okonkwo, even if I didn't deserve the grace you showed in teaching it. Amara nodded once, accepting the acknowledgement without erasing the harm that came before it. As the meeting dispersed, as executives filed out already making phone calls and planning the new security protocols, Amara stood in the conference room for one quiet moment. She looked at the chair where she'd sat in her cleaning uniform, at the keyboard where her fingers had worked magic, at the screens that had shown the world what she'd always known she could do. Tomorrow, she'd start her new position. She'd rebuild the security infrastructure, yes, but more than that, she'd rebuild the culture. She'd find the janitors and servers and drivers who were actually engineers and doctors and scientists. She'd create a pipeline for immigrant talent. She'd make sure that no one else would have to wait for a crisis to be seen. But tonight she'd go to Mass General, pick up Zainab from the children's ward where she was spending the afternoon during treatment, and tell her 7-year-old daughter that they were going to be okay. More than okay. Tomorrow, the real work begins. Tell us in the comments, have you ever been underestimated because of where you're from? And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now, because stories like this deserve to be heard. Amara Okonkwo walked out of Conference Room A, no longer invisible, no longer overlooked, just getting started.